Hello everyone! Ogre27 Kane here today, and I want to do a review of Ori and the Blind Forest for the Nintendo Switch. Let's do an overview and find out what this game is all about. Well, probably the most beautiful and artistic rendition of a Metroidvania you'll ever play, this game was brought to us by Moon Studios through Microsoft and then ported to the Switch. That's right, you heard me, this is a Microsoft game on the Switch. And it's an absolutely gorgeous, fantastic, fun Metroidvania. There are a few little tweaks here and there that bother me, such as some control issues, but overall, I highly enjoyed this game, and I really recommend it. Not to mention, probably one of the best and most heartwarming and heartfelt stories you'll play on the Switch. So let's get into the gameplay first up. So the gameplay structure in this is what you'd expect from a Metroidvania. The highlight to this, though, is the beautiful art and the absolutely amazing storytelling that exists. Everything in this world feels organic and doesn't feel blocky or static by nature, like you'd expect with most Metroidvanias. Although being absolutely vibrant and beautiful, and having abilities that pair well with this world and art style, the highlight to this game is actually the story. And I love all of the elements and how they play into it, and the fact that most of this is told without any real actual language. Yes, there's this weird language that plays in the background, but you don't really understand it. Yes, you see the words on the screen, but you feel their narrative as it happens. And this game probably evokes more emotion than any other game in this genre than I think I've ever played. So the last piece about gameplay I need to mention is that this game does contain a leveling and experience system as well as an upgrade and ability system to go along with it. I absolutely love this because it allows you to essentially tank or over-level, power level your character to get through places you can't. It allows you to control the difficulty of the gameplay. And this is one of the funnest aspects, along with getting through the story, of course. Speaking of which, the next category, the story. So your name is Ori. You are a forest spirit. You were born essentially at the death of the land, and you're not aware of any of this. The caretaker, which you see here, takes care of you as long as they can, but they perish along with the land. Now it's up to you to figure out how to restore it and bring it back to life. The cool thing about this game is it's not what you think it is. The enemy that you're driven to defeat through the whole game is not the enemy in which you really have. All of the story elements play out fantastically with each area that you go to, and your character has a lot of meaning to what they're trying to accomplish. At first, it starts out as a story of revenge, and then it turns into a story of sorrow, and then it turns into a story of courage, and then finally one of hope. And that's the coolest part about this game, is that all the while you're playing a fantastic Metroidvania with tons of exploration and lots of other great elements all played in and wrapped up in this one bundle of fantastic joy. I really don't want to give away too much more to the story because honestly it is probably the best element of this fantastic game, and it's one that you should really experience for yourself. Yes, there's a lot of finer detail you can experience by playing it through again, but the nuance of the first time will never feel the same with any other emotion. So let's move on to our next category now, the combat. So first up, I want to start off by saying I have played and I am almost completely finished with the second Ori game, and it does have much better combat. The combat in this game feels almost like it was an afterthought. As you can see here, it's not very up close and personal, not very physical. You have this little fireball that basically turns into all these other things and gains more power and charges and has its own abilities. But it doesn't give you that feeling, that up close and personal feeling you feel in the second Ori game with having a melee weapon and direct close quarters combat. That being said, it's not a bad or negative element, it just took a backseat to the story and the graphics and animation in this. The last element to combat I want to mention is that you can, like I said, use the experience and leveling system to power level and upgrade yourself. So let's move on to the next category, the graphics and animations. Well, it's honestly hard to choose between this category and the story being the top two. This is an absolutely amazing and beautiful game. As you can see right here on screen, there are so many vibrant and colorful scenes in this game that will have you on the edge of your seat. I absolutely love this aspect as it plays in very well with the story and the combat too. All of the elements come together to really give you something beautiful. And the frame rate is absolutely fantastic. I was a little worried that this game, being as graphically intense as it is, was going to give the Switch some hiccups, but it doesn't, not at all. The Switch never once had an issue or chugged on me. I never had it crash, never had any problems. Now, you may have experienced something different, and I'm more than happy to hear it out in the comments and explore it. But as for me, I can say this is probably one of the most stable and best performing games on the Switch. Very coherent. I would honestly say this game competes with Metroid Dread as having some of the best eye candy possible on a 2D platformer for the Nintendo Switch. The performance and everything else in this game really is top notch, and they did a fantastic job porting it and bringing it over. This was not just a quick little hack job and a quick money grab. This is something that we can obviously see they cared about. Well, last up, we're going to do controls and audio now. So first up, we're going to show off the audio. And the audio in this game pairs fantastically with the story and the graphics and animation. They did a great job evoking a lot of the storytelling and emotion through the audio. So let's take a little listen and see what it's all about. Pretty darn top notch and kinda speaks for itself if you ask me. So let's talk about the controls a little bit. So the controls in this game do pair really well with the gameplay, and it feels really good. It is a tiny bit floaty from time to time, and it did cause me to misjudge a jump, but these were not big gripes and they didn't hold back or hurt my gameplay in any way, shape, or form. The last thing I have to mention is that this game does have a life-saving double jump, thank God. So let's do the last category, conclusion now. Well, in all honesty, I did not know what to expect. I was really afraid that this game was not going to turn out well on the Switch. It is a pretty beautiful and graphically intense game, and I didn't know how Microsoft would handle porting it over. They took their time and did a fantastic job, and it really does speak highly of their talent and ability with the Switch. Not only did they do this game and the second Ori game great, but they also did Minecraft and a few others. It really impresses me to know that Microsoft cares about how their stuff looks on other consoles. The last thing I need to mention is that this game does come complete on the cartridge. Yes, there's a tiny little day one update, but it does not impair or impact your ability to play this, and it is all complete there on the cartridge for preservation's sake. As a physical collector, this is one of the highlights for me and one of the things I look for, so I absolutely love the fact that Microsoft did this as well. This game is fairly cheap, and I would pick it up as soon as you can because it's not going to stick around at that $30 to $40 price tag. This is one of those games that in a few years will probably be really expensive, so get it while you can and enjoy it, because I guarantee you will. Well, thank you for watching today's video. It was a blast to make. I upload every single Monday. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day. This is Ogre 27 Kane signing out.